Okay, this is a reminder to everybody. Hackfisher is here today for a dev hangout, and dev hangouts are open forum. I ask that everybody try not to speak over others, wait your turn, and we will try to get to everybody's questions. Hackfisher takes time out of his day so he can have a little bit closer relationship with the people who want to invest in his work and his project and the team who's working with him. Feel free to ask questions as needed. This is here for all of you. If you tend to be a wallflower and you prefer to not ask your questions out loud, feel free to ask them in the message or double click on my name and ask a question that way, and I will try to ask it for you. Does everybody understand?
I did.
Okay. Well, with that said, Hackfisher, would you like to get started with maybe giving us a little bit of an update on where your project is at the moment?
Should be the November, 5th November, yeah. So yeah, it will be the same with the merging time of BTS, taken on BTS, yeah. And the second thing I can tell is that the DEX we are going to honor will be PTS, IGS, and merged BTS. So there will be three, yeah.
So it'll be in conjunction with the BTS snapshot, but you won't be separate of BTS itself.
Yes, it will be the super deck, the merged BTS. Someone is asking the question on the Reddit, so I can directly answer this. This is what I can tell now. Yeah.
Well, would you like me to cover the Reddit first?
Okay, great.
Okay. It just seems like that's what you're looking at, so let's get that out of the way. And then what we'll do is we'll open it up for some community questions, if that's fine.
Good. Which menu?
Go to Configure.
Configure.
And then click on Audio Wizard. Follow the instructions, and then I believe it is the fourth page. You will click Next 3 different times, and on the fourth page it will ask you about push to talk. You'll want to click on the little box next to it to enable it, and then you will want to choose your push to talk key. I personally choose Control because it makes it easier for me to something that I don't use very often. Or right alt would be fine too, of course. And I'll use this as an opportunity to let everybody know I have another subreddit that I have created for BBX conferences. We are going to be moving over there once that Reddit is finished. I would urge everybody who attends these to check the subreddit and vote up or down questions that they feel are questions that they would like to have asked. And of course, the developers are always welcome to go to the subreddit and actually answer the questions there, but we will likely ask some of those questions during these audio sessions so we can have the answers in multiple formats.
We have 2 more developers joining bitshares Play team. The first one is Claire, a CPP developer based on Shanghai. Another one is Bombastic. He's the creator of the IGSexplorer.com, which maybe a lot of people in our community know that website. It is a very cool website which people can query the IGS donations, and he joined us helping develop the GUI and web wallet, and now is working on website. And now I'm working on the website too. I'm providing contents and other things to make the website the one which I want it to be. And the next we will move to the development of the GUI, the wallet, and after that we will have testnet 3, so people can buy chips, which is game coins, on in the wallet, and okay, and after that, which I think we may have a pre-sale, and the launch is going to be happen after the pre-sale.
Okay. Could you tell us when the pre-sale is going to start, when the snapshot is going to be, and when the pre-sale will end?
The pre-sale happen after the snapshot publish time. I mean, we will publish the snapshot first, and the pre-sale will maybe 1 or 2 months later. And we want to ensure that we can launch the deck after the end of the pre-sale. So it is, I can tell the exact time now. Okay.
Sure, please. So Xerox is saying snapshots have to be announced 14 days in advance, so you cannot snapshot at the 5th of November. Did you realize that? Maybe we can work on a different time, or did you already announce it somewhere else?
No, I didn't announce it somewhere else. It would probably happen in next week. The best would be before the 5th of November. So yeah, it will happen very soon, and please stay tuned.
Well, I just want to help you to understand what Xerox is saying, if that is okay. There is a general consensus that everyone should know at least 14 days, that is 2 weeks, before the snapshot that it is going to occur, that it is going to happen, right? So what they are saying is that this might not give enough time for people to know that you are going to be taking your snapshot. Now, I understand that this is probably a little bit difficult to a degree, because you are at a place where BTS will be taking a snapshot as well. Can you tell us why you feel it's very important to do it before November 6th?
I feel it is important because the PDS will be merged to BDS on 5th November. And my understanding about the consensus is that the snapshot should be told to people before the launch. I mean, the snapshot taken time should be, my understanding is the launch time. So people should be informed 2 weeks before the launch about the snapshot plans.
Yes. So you did post it somewhere? You have announced this somewhere other than on the Mumble server?
No. I mean, the launch time will maybe 1 month and 2 months after now. So if we are going to announce it next week, then there is still enough time to follow the consensus. I mean, the launch time is still 1 month or 2 months later, or even more, yeah.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns that they would like to express?
Hi, this is Riverhead. I'm still a bit confused about the snapshot. You said it's going to be November 5th. Are you planning to announce it November 5th or actually take the snapshot November 5th? For example, if I wanted to review the distribution of how the percentages of the airdrop and balance my portfolio accordingly, would it have to be done by the 5th?
It will be announced before 5th the 11th, but the taken time will be after the BTS merged. I mean, it will be taken after the merged BTS.
Okay, thank you. So if it's after the merge PTS, is the distribution, is it announced or listed somewhere, or is it going to be all PTS?
It will be a combination of 3 DEC, the PTS, AGS, and the BTS. So the exact distribution is that something we will announce. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. One more question. You've done a couple of test nets. Last I saw was testnet number 2, and it looked like there was you were working on something. Is there a plan soon for testnet number 3 that we can get in there and help you with testing, or is that still a bit further out?
For test number 3, we are going to have a GUI so that more testers can get involved. But the GUI development will take some time, so it will not happen so quick. Yeah, we would like to launch it as early as we can, but it will not happen in near 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay, that makes sense. You had mentioned in one of the threads to encourage tester participation that there was going to be a contest of some sort. Is that still a plan?
You mean the bitshares play testnet?
Yes, I think so. I may have misread, but I had the feeling, or I got the impression that there was going to be some sort of contest to encourage participation in the testing.
Yes, I remember that I posted a thread that people can tell their address and their public key on this thread so that we can get it on the Genesis JSON of the, on the testnet, so that people do not need to request others to send them test coins. In this way, these people can get involved in the testing. That is still working. People can still publish their address or public key to us, so we can put it on the Genesis.
Excellent, thank you. Joey D had a question, and I'll just read it to you now. It says, what is the scope for the BitShares play in the short term? Will it focus on tokens, chips, or will it also look into tracking fairness and random number generation and such? It's in the text box.
The play deck is switched from Lotto. Maybe a lot of people know about that. The Lotto is about lottery game, fair gambling game, but we are going to switch from Lotto to bitshares play. It will be a marketplace for traditional game companies to sell their game coins or game assets on the deck. It will have a lot of some on-chain games maybe, but that is something not in near short term. It will be long term. Encouraging third-party developers to develop on the blockchain. That is long term. So in short term, it will be a decentralized marketplace, and maybe after users buy the game coins, they can exchange the second-hand coins on built-in exchange.
So is the paradigm then similar to music, where they have notes and artist coins and that sort of thing, or you will have play coins and then specific game coins?
Yeah, it is similar to music in some sense, but we do not have bit US dollar. And another thing is that we have exchange for users to exchange these game assets. So this is the difference, and we will still have some games that is we want to build, but that's something we will not focus on short term.
Thank you.
Regarding the game coins and game development, I'm assuming this is similar in very many ways to for the user and the investor to how BitShares Music will work in a way with respect to a potential investor could purchase coins in a game development firm's game because they believe that the game will be a very good game, and they can buy it early and wait for the game to become more well-known and popular. Do you have any recommendations for developers on how to help potential investors decide whether their game is good enough to invest in?
There are two kind of game chips on the BitShares Play. One is the on-chain game coins. Another it is following the internal exchange model. Another one is the game coins on marketplace, which is from the traditional game providers. For the first one, it depends on the economic model of the game coin. For those which is, inflation, which might be interesting and players want to play with. But for those maybe deflation, compared to BitShares Play shares, it will have investment value. If people buy it earlier, it could be people maybe earn pleasures by this on this investment.
So if you buy the coin early, it very well might go up in price, which makes it a good investment. If it doesn't go up in price, if it goes down in price over time, then it would be a bad investment. But the question that I would have then is, how does a user or an investor know if that game is going to be a good game to invest in? Do you recommend, for instance, game developers giving a certain amount of game coins for free to play? Or do you recommend that they create a trial version so people can play and understand the mechanics of the game before they decide whether they believe it will be a good game or not?
Okay, yeah. For the on-chain game, it depends on the rules from the game developer. The rule from the game developer must put it transparent on the chain. For example, we are going to have a game. Its name is called pizza falling on your head. For every block, there will be a jackpot falling on some player's head. If this player is holding on the chip, but the chips of the other players keep unchanged, so the supply of the chips is going up, but the price compared to PlayShare is going down. So the other people who is unlucky will their value of their investment, if they want to keep it as an investment, they will lose lose the investment. But for those people who want to be lucky, think this is a lucky game, they want to get the jackpot, they might be involved in this game. So this rule is put on chain and be transparent, so the investors can see the description or see the or take a look at the source code of the game to see whether it has value to invest.
So are you saying that there will be a prediction market, and that is where people will be able to decide if the coin is becoming more valuable or less valuable?
Actually, I think the value of the coin is predictable according to the rule of the game. So I think for those, there's two kind of people on this chain. The one is player. The another one is investors. The investors may put their money on those coins, which is have value to invest. But the players, the only thing players care about is whether the game is fun, or they think they are lucky, they can get something something similar to prediction market. Yeah.
I think I understand. So people will need to buy the coins to play the game. Kind of like the old arcades.
Yeah, something like in China, there's a place which called, the house of the games. People, when they enter the house or when they enter the place, they're using fiat CNY, for example, CNY, to buy the chips, to exchange the chips, and they use these chips to play games, and then when go out, they exchange back to the CNY.
So it sounds like when you're talking with the two groups of people, there are people who think they can make money by playing the games, and there are people that think they can make money by investing in the games. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
And will the tokens be different, is what you're saying? The investment tokens will be different from the playing tokens?
Yes, there are two different kind of tokens. The play share is if you want to buy or sell chips, you need to exchange to play share first. Their price between these two chips are decided by the inner exchange model, which could be simply summarized as the ratio between the total supply of the game coin and the total supply of the players' collateral. When people buy chips, they put their pleasure into the collateral held by system and get some chips from nothing. And then when they sell those chips, those chips will be destroyed, and they will get the related pleasures from the collateral to their hand.
So what Tony K says, and I believe this is correct, so I'm going to go ahead and read it, is by being the gambler and by being the house. So you can choose to be one or the other.
Yes, exactly. And more details about the inner exchange model can be found in the white paper. Yeah. And this is the on-chain games. For the off-chain, I mean the game coins provided by the traditional game providers, they are just a marketplace for buy goods. I mean, the game coins there is just like something goods. People can buy those coins and use it in some traditional game. This needs some work and stuff to do. I mean, the integration or the cooperation with the game providers. There's such a traditional service. For example, the Taobao, one website from the Alibaba, they have a marketplace for these game providers to sell their game coin. The advantage on our side is that we have a promote mechanism that is similar to BitShares Music. For they can betting on the holders of the provider shares. They can betting on help promote the selling of the game coins. And another advantage is that the players, the game coins players buy on our site, they can sell it on the exchange, which is not provided in the services which we can find.
Joey D asks, what would be the motivation for developers to use this? Could you give a little bit of an understanding for him?
For the developers, we need to provide a platform which is slightly different from the toolkit. So we will need to focus the toolkit and make it as a platform. So developers can coding the rules and maybe merge to our code first, at the very beginning, but later they can put the code on the deck, and the delegates can vote which game should be published on the deck, so players can play with. It will depend on the votes from the delegates. The only thing the developer need to provide is the source code. That is something can be simply compiled to a file that can publish on the chain.
Joey D is asking another question. So the games themselves will be part of the blockchain?
Yes, but the game rules can be. We want to make it something like a plugin, so it the game assets or the game coins is on the main chain, but the data, the game of the player rules will be on that is something that cannot be on the chain of the user side. But for the delegates, they need to run or have all these blockchain data. So for the user, they can choose the plugin they want to install. But for the delegates, they need to run all these plugins, games.
So the delegates will be the ones who choose which games they publish, similar to how the feeds are published for bit assets on the BTS chain.
Yes, they will similar. They will have votes. For example, if 51% percentage of the delegates approve that the game could be on the deck, then it will be automatically on the deck.
I understand. And Joey's saying this is a workaround for light wallets.
Yeah, actually it is something about scalability, because if we want to have third-party games, the blockchain could be very big. So this is something we can have the solution for the end users. So for the end user, if they do not care about some games, they do not need to have the performance cost to play that games, but slightly different from light wallets. As I understand, light wallets is something do not need to sync blockchain, just like blockchain.info. It is not different from light wallets, but they are trying to resolve the same problem, I think. I mean, to reduce the cost on the end user side.
I have still another question. My background noise is now gone, so I can now talk. I'm trying to work out. Now I understand why people would want to buy to be part of the house or part of the players, but what I don't see just yet is what would incentivize developers of these games to build these or to use this coin instead of going with their own system. So for example, how would these games make money on their own? Because I guess they need to be separate systems, or do you see them completely distributed on the blockchain?
There will be several profit model for the game developer. For the simplest one would be, for example, the game developer can have Genesis account for themselves, so the house edge or the fees, the transaction fees to play the games will be paid to those accounts. This would be the simplest. The other one would be we have game rewards to encourage developers to develop games. I mean, the game rewards is something taken on a snapshot for some percentage. I'm considering that maybe we can have developers providing their GUI so they can make money by just maybe ads. There will be it is depending on their ideas. Yeah.
So mainly the value proposition for now is that you have this reliable chain and they don't have to first fight an uphill battle for reliability, for the reputation.
Yes. For developers have their model, but if they are too greedy, they will not be voted by the delegates of the bitshares play. There's cannot make profit for this deck, they may not get voted. But it will find a way to, cooperation with these third-party developers.
I'm not a developer myself, so I'm trying to work out why they would not want to issue their own token in their own system. But on the other hand, a lot of these gambling playing sites seem to have a lot of trouble, so this might actually be for them a way out.
I think, Joey, I think the big draw will be if you once BitShares Play gains momentum and some network effect. If it's kind of like releasing an app on iTunes, you immediately get a huge audience versus trying to market from zero your own coin.
Have you been contacted by third parties, developers wanting to use this network already? So to get this stuff off the ground, because I'm kind of struggling with the idea how this stuff will get an iTunes-like reputation. So maybe if there are already if you can launch with a couple of these systems already online, it would be a better start.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do. So we will start with some demo games, which may be developed by the people we know, and we encourage them to do. And yeah, these games would be simple little games, which is easy to design and easy to put on the chain. And the reason why we use this internal exchange model is that it forms a free market for the games to compete with each other. The games which is fun will have more players, and thus will have more, game coins and more fees maybe. and the games which is more profitable will have more investors to buy their game coins. So the thing we want to provide is a flexibility, a blockchain and a DEX which is flexible for developers to develop games. They do not need to consider a lot of things, and we do not worry about the security. For example, like from the economic side.
Maybe answer the question that Heidi asked.
Yes, maybe have a Chinese Hangout is a good idea. We can have that if there's a lot of requests or requirements about that. Or maybe now we can put it on the end of this Hangout. If people have Chinese questions, they can directly ask me because I understand Chinese. Yeah.
I would like to get to one question I have for you regarding kind of like what Joey was talking about with respect to developers who might be building onto or developing games for your chain. And that is about Just Dice. Does he have plans to work with you, or is he a separate entity running a separate DAC? Could you give us a little bit of information in that area?
Yes, I have some discussion on the forum thread, and he's in China, in Chengdu, I think, and I invited him to have some, merge or cooperation, but his interest might be to provide a simple Satoshi dice-like deck. I think it is not conflict with the target or the goal of bitshares play. We can cooperate if he want or if conditions are mature. Yeah.
I see. Riverhead made a very good point here. Someone, if possible, if someone can translate some of the most important points in the Chinese discussion to English, it might be very helpful for us. This is going to be a heavy edited session to get to make the flow a little bit easier to listen to, but we will, as always, keep the raw and unedited version as well. So, moving forward, there was a question asked, how many developers are working for the Play project, and that is from Over the Top.
There are currently about 3 developers, and I'm full-time on this, and another one is part-time. So I'm finding more developers to join us, but it is really hard for us now. Maybe we can, we can keep going and build something. People who is interested in the ideas will join us, will know about this, and this is why we have this member, maybe. Yeah.
If there were developers who were working on coins that were kind of similar to what you are doing in the cryptocurrency space, but they are not DPoS-based coins, are there any recommendations for them on how they could work with you and potentially join if they wished to do so?
The project of bitshares Play are on GitHub, and all the codes are open source. They do not need to understand the DPoS, I think. And the other thing is that there's a lot of things. I created some issues that is tagged as help wanted. maybe some are something that might be similar with. So I think they maybe can start with those issues and then get involved, create pull request, and that is how I get involved in bitshares.
Because I wanted to inform everyone that I am planning on speaking with the developer and potentially his team tonight from a coin called Coin 2, and they have some games that they are already developing, some that I believe are in beta testing, can be actually played, and I am working to find a way that they might be able to help you with your project. Would you be interested in meeting with them sometime?
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea. I didn't go through Coin2. Maybe I need to take a look at the projects that they are developing on. For games, we have some one for now. We have example game which is called Dice on in a code. Maybe they can take a look at the rules, which might be they might be familiar with, and maybe they can be involved in game developers. So that is the things I can tell now. Yeah.
Okay, I will let them know that you are interested, and perhaps we can set something up. So I will talk to them, and then we will get back with you. Cajun says he wants to ask about the allocation of the snapshot, and I believe that he missed the beginning of it when you said that the snapshot will be November 5th. But could you answer the second part of his question regarding the actual percentage of allocation?
We are going to have the play snapshot announcement before 5/11, but for details allocation about the play, please stay tuned and keep an eye on our announcement. I cannot tell it now because I want to keep it fair for everyone.
Over the Top asks you how you feel about the Super DAC merger with BTS. Could you give us your opinions?
Yeah, for the merger, it is a very sudden change for us, and the snapshot is changed accordingly. We had several discussions with Badmaster and Stan. They are thinking that it is good for play to keep independent and play and will still be an important member of the community. And for the merger, I think the reasons from Badmaster make sense. It will be good for the BTS as it will improve the network effect significantly. And that's the main reason why I support this merger. And for the others, because interests from different decks are different, so it makes the concerns from the community is understandable. They have those concerns, but since the decisions are already making, we should focus on the next step. Yeah, that's my ideas.
So you believe that it was a good decision strategically for BTS and that it will not harm your project in any way. Is that a good way of saying it?
Yeah, especially for those DEX with BitUSD, and if they can share the same DEX using the same BitUSD, they will improve the network effect significantly. But for bitshares play, we are not going to have BitUSD, so it makes sense for us to keep independent, and we want to wait and have until the BTS get more mature. So even if later or in the future the bitshares play can be merged to BTS, it will be an independent asset rather than dilution or allocation.
So you said that you will not have BitUSD. Are you also saying that you will have no bit fiat currencies at all? Or are you having plans to have anything like BitCNY or other currencies?
The problem BitUSD want to resolve, we may have that problem too, but we want to resolve it in a more simple way. I mean, we are going to have a decentralized marketplace for game assets. We will have a platform which is integrated to the exchanges. That is to reduce the effect from the price. To the users can still buy the game coins, use fiat, but when they put the fiat in, we buy the shares on the exchange and then use that to automatically buy the game coins. So the game providers, traditional game providers, can change their price accordingly to the price of the exchange. So it is a different approach to resolve the same problem.
So will the primary way to purchase the chips, which are the main token, the primary token of the network, what will be the primary way of purchasing them? Will it be through Bitcoin or some other established means?
Yeah, it will be anything that is the things exchanges support.
Okay, and do you have plans, or do you see the possibility of eventually being able to access these through decentralized exchanges?
Yeah, it makes sense. For example, the BTSX exchange, if we find ways to integrate or communicate with this deck, I mean technically communicate, then we can use BitUSD to buy the game coins.
Does anyone have any questions?
I think a couple of people asked if they could talk in Chinese, so I'm okay with if part of the session happens in Chinese.
Well, do you all feel like we have covered what we need to cover on the English side before we move toward that? I would like to try to keep them somewhat split apart because it will become more difficult to edit otherwise, if that makes any sense. Well, could you answer one question for me in English before we move on? Because it looks like we do have everybody on the English side feels comfortable with your answers. I would like to ask you one final question. Do you have a total supply that you have already set in stone with regard to play shares? And do you intend on ever diluting them, or will they remain undiluted?
Yeah, I can tell that the total supply of play shares will be 2 billion and fix the total supply, just like the current BTSX model. I mean, the transaction fees will be paid to the delegates, at least for the current. That is, I think, is good for the consensus of bitshares plan.
Thank you very much, Hackfisher. If there are no other questions from the English-speaking side, I will hand it over to BTS Wild Pig or any number of other Chinese-speaking translation-capable individuals. And anyone who wants to ask questions in Chinese, please let them know that it is a great time to start.
Any questions in Chinese?
We have a couple questions coming in. Hack.
Yeah, he's asking the last question you have just asked. Yes, the total supply is 2 billion and fix the total supply, and we will have crowdfunding similar to Milik. This is a question from Cai Jichen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will ask you one more question. I just thought of when I saw music and play together. Oftentimes, developers will find musical talent to produce the music soundtrack for their games. Do you have any idea if there will be an easy way of transferring shares of music coins, or rather artist coins or notes, to BitShares Play and vice versa?
I think that need cross-chain technology, and we need something. Maybe I have paid some attention to the sidechains solution, but I cannot tell I have the solution now.
That sounds fair. Well, unless anybody else has a question for Hackfisher, I will thank you for your time, and I will let everybody know that unless anything has changed, and please let me know if something has changed, but for the time being, we will be holding these every other week, and it will be the same time in the same place.
For the Chinese, it might be, if there's also going to be a Chinese language one, it doesn't really make sense to do it after the English one. It would be better the other way around, I think, because China is way later than where the Western English-speaking community is.
Oh, certainly. If somebody wants to schedule that or wants me to help with that, please contact me on the forums. I am Fuzzy on the forums. You can PM me, or you can contact me at beyondbitcoin@gmail.com.
Also for the Chinese part, if this is going to be a Chinese language part as well, might be nice if there were a couple of volunteers from the Chinese community who would be willing to take over your role as a, how do you call it, moderator? These questions, at least somebody asking the questions, being and collecting the questions from the community.
I have no problems with that. They're more than welcome to go about it any way that they would like. I do agree that it would be nice to have an English translation to these sessions, so we can ensure that even if some small topics are not covered in the English-speaking sessions, that we have some crossover between them to make sure that everything is covered. Hackfisher, would you like to tell everybody how they can get a hold of you?
Yes, you can. They can send me mail, drop me a mail on the hackfisher@gmail.com, and I'm keeping on contact with the Wild Pig and the MCAT and so on. I think if people in Chinese community have this request or requirement, they can contact him, and they are very good at both English and Chinese. We can hold a such hangout then. It is also okay to ask me questions directly after this hangout. Yes, and yeah, that's.
Well, thank you very much for showing up and having this hangout with us, and thank you everyone for showing up and asking questions. This is here for you. This is a reminder that everyone has their own unique skills and experiences, and many times the people who believe that they do not have any questions of value do themselves and everyone else a disservice by feeling that they can't ask them. So I would love to encourage everyone to make sure to feel like they can ask the questions if they would like, or to ask somebody to ask for them. With that said, we will close this off, and thank you for your time, everyone. I will use this as an opportunity to let everyone know that if they want to have their own hangouts or events, you are more than welcome to schedule with the conference server to run them. I will help you coordinate as much as possible, and I would love to see more people helping to do this.